So what we're going to do now is take a look at the products from a practical standpoint, WAGO lever nuts versus twist type connectors in something like a junction box or, just practical situations where you would actually use these products and see the difference in the handling.
Okay, so now let's just take a quick look at, when we actually have installed the wires. We've talked about strip length. We've talked about, hey, once you start putting these things together, the concerns about the different conductor types and actually making connection. You can see now when we start putting and placing the conductors and the terminations inside a junction box, we're just kind of cramming things in there. And we try to pull things apart and things like that to make sure that we don't have any connections where they could possibly have a ground touch one of the line connections here. But again, as you're just putting this stuff in, and this is a rather large junction box, so you can imagine the tighter, smaller ones, as I start to push things in here and push things down, that it can be an issue where this ground could potentially, if I strip this too far back, come in contact with this. And of course the other, quote unquote solution to that problem is, well, just take some electrical tape and you'll wrap it around this. And it doesn't look very professional, first of all, but again, when you come back and say, oh, well, we're making a change, we got to add a circuit to this, whatever the case may be, well, now I have to unwrap all of that electrical tape and then replace my connections in here. And then if I'm still concerned about that, I always say, well, get some more electrical tape and wrap it up around there. So again, this is kind of the way things have been done. But again, there's really big concerns. And I've seen situations where, okay, this looks good, but from pulling things in and out and in and out and back and forth, these have actually popped out. I actually saw one the other day where the circuit was working properly, and then all of a sudden it stopped working, a fan, and they found out that the neutral had come loose, but because the junction that it was in, or the box that they were utilizing for this fan, was metallic, the neutral had actually been touching the side of the box, and then over time the conductor just wasn't making contact anymore, no continuity there in a connection, and the fan just stopped working. So they thought they had a bad fan. They started checking things out, digging into it and finding out what was wrong, trying to troubleshoot this thing, and come to find out the conductor had actually worked its way out from people pulling the conductors in and out of here, working with it, and was just happened to be touching the side of the box. Fortunately, it was the neutral and the circuit still worked, but then eventually it just stopped touching the side of the box, and then they had to go find out what was wrong, and they were getting ready to buy a new motor and everything. So again, you can see all the little nuances of working with the twist type connectors. So now let's take a look at the same situation, the same number of conductors with like a 221, and see how much space we're looking at in here, because that tends to be, sometimes people have concerns about, well, this is bigger somehow than something like that. And you can see physically, really it's not that much bigger between the two. In fact, they're almost the same size. And the two conductor one is even smaller. So let's take a look at that now. Okay, so now we have the same junction box, the same number of conductors as before with the twist type connectors, and we're now using the 221s. And again, the big thing you can see here right out of the gate is, of course, there's no real size difference as far as when I'm taking size up inside the panel and working, or excuse me, inside the junction box here and working with it. A couple of things too we looked at previously is, handling. If I come in here and start pulling and twisting on these, I don't have to worry about is the person who previously installed it twist them improperly and they terminate it, because, well, one, I can see right here that it's terminated and properly. I don't have to worry about whether it's connected in there. I can pull on this and see clearly it's not going anywhere. But again, I can see the terminations. I can see the conductors. And then here you can see with a 3-conductor version and so forth on these, the line in your neutral in here. And as far as handling, oh, we have a change to the circuit, I need to add something to this, whatever the case may be. If we go with, let's say, well, we want to add a couple of circuits here. Remember what I said, with the twist type connectors, I could have said, oh, okay, well, we'll unwrap this and then twist in another conductor. But the other thing that's important about that is this twist type might have been the right size for 3, but not the right size for 4 or 5. So now I got to go find what is the right twist type. Do we even have those here? With the WAGO ones, well, I don't have to worry about colors, sizes, and all that. All I need to know is the number of conductors. So let's say I come in here and I realize, okay, I need 5 slots. So then I can come in, swap it out, say, okay, I have 5 conductors I'm trying to put in here. I'm just going to remove the 3 conductor. I can then open these up, come in here, and have my 3 conductors, insert it as before. The other thing too, it's easier to handle this because I'm just handling 1 conductor at a time. You know, when you're using the twist type and you're trying to jam 5 conductors or 3 conductors or whatever in here and twist, and it's hanging upside down and working with it, that's not very easy to accomplish. So now again, I've got 2 more conductors I need to put in here. 1 stranded, 1 solid. Do I care about the strip length or anything like that because of the type of conductor? No, it's always the same. Worry about the how far do I insert into here, because one needs to be longer than the other because it's stranded as opposed to a solid conductor. No, I don't care about that. So again, I'm just going to insert this one into here and then take my last, strand it, pass it through, and you can see this starts getting really crazy in here when we start inserting all these conductors, and it really doesn't matter to the 221s because again, I'm still handling it quite well with this, and I can twist and bend and all that stuff and not worry about it coming loose. And again, I can still see all the terminations and that everything's terminated correctly. All right, so it's much easier to handle from the standpoint of working with more than like 2, 3, 4, 5 conductors. Again, trying to jam all those into one of these and then twist properly. And then imagine again, we have 3 solid but 2 stranded. Well, then I got 2 different lengths for 3 different, you know, or 5 different conductors, 2 different types. And then when I insert, well, the 2 stranded now have to go in first at a certain length, and then the solids at a certain length and twist. Here, I don't care about any of that. I just insert it, clamp down, and I'm finished. And again, reusability is not an issue. It's quite easy with these because of the expansion of the circuit here, for example. But also, again, what size do I need now because of the twist type? Not an issue with these. So again, whether it's the 221s or even the 222 series, again, all of that is simplified so much better with the WAGO products and making things easier for the contractors, the end users, and so forth. So I think you can see how much of a much superior product this is over the old twist type style connectors, and how much those little things just keep adding up to make this a better solution for different types of applications. Again, with all the approvals that we have in different industries, you know, whether it's commercial, industrial applications, building automation, building installations, or shipbuilding, or industrial, it doesn't matter. We have all the necessary approvals, as well as approvals that the twist type connectors just can't do. There's certain shipbuilding applications where they're just not acceptable. So I hope you see that this is an excellent product and how this product can be utilized in so many different applications and industries and just make things easier all around for your installations.